Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Ronald Lamola, has released the Matric results for inmates today at the Barberton Correctional Centre in Mpumalanga. They actually seem to have had a better average than those who were being taught at school. Well, the Minister, Ronald Lamola, is with us now to talk about the achievements of the prisons class of 2021. Minister, good evening to you, and thank you very much indeed for your time. It seems that people who wrote Matric in prison actually did better than people who wrote Matric in school. It shows you that people in prison, prisoners, can still have important achievements.
Yes, indeed, Stephen. The life that we enable them to live, we want to help them to be rehabilitated so that when they leave our facilities, they are better people. They make a positive contribution to society. But it will not be really accurate to really state that they are far better than those who are in schools. They need to have the same standard and environment that helps them to study. But they are not a huge number like the Department of Basic Education, which deals with a huge number. Ours is a smaller, manageable number. Maybe also that helps us. And they are in a kept environment. So we are hopeful that when they study like this and they participate in skills development programs, it is contributing towards their rehabilitation for their positive input in society when they are released.
What support do you give to prisoners who are writing Matric? I mean, are they actually able to attend classes? Do teachers come sometimes to help them as well?
Yes, we do have our own educators in the facilities. And also the Department of Basic Education give us lots of support. They also help with some tutoring and the other basic necessities that we need from the department. But we also have lots of the educators that then are the ones that are teaching them. And you will have observed that when they've achieved an 89% pass rate, with 82% of them that will be able to achieve educational college admission. So it's a huge achievement, and we are encouraging them to go to further their education with vocational kind of training, but there are those that still want to do kind of degrees and national diplomas. But our encouragement to them is to do mostly things that relates to vocational training, because those are skills that will also enable them to be self-employed, skills like plumbing, boiler making, and so forth. But it's a class that was very positive, and the ones from Durban Westville, they've been performing very well for the past 5 years. In terms of their achievement, and some of them have now gone up outside in society to be entrepreneurs, and they are a very positive role models and ambassadors of correctional services out there because of this program.
I mean, I suppose also, if they're able to come out of prison with skills, it really lowers the chances of them reoffending. There must be a link between an education in prison and your chances of reoffending when you leave prison.
Yes, indeed, Stephen. Our assessment does reflect that those that get out with the skills, their chances of reoffending is very slim, because they are able to be self-employed, some of them with things like plumbing. Others also do real degrees, like some of them end up being in lawyers, some being accountants. So their contribution, and you will see some of them are really successful entrepreneurs that they've created jobs in the community, and that their contribution is a very positive one in the societies where they come from. And this is what we encourage, because it is good for us to have these good and real ambassadors, because some of them really go out and embarrass us when they commit barbaric crimes. But the majority of those that get out with skills, they do comply, and they become positive role models.
We must talk, talking about positive role models, Minister, Patrick Shy passing away over the weekend, an actor, but also an activist against gender-based violence. I imagine you knew him, you knew his work.
Yes, we knew his work. The Department of Justice and Correctional Services wants to convey our condolences to his family, and we say may his soul rest in peace. we have worked very well with him, Stephen. In most of our programs, he had a program of Indoda, of grooming young boys, that we worked with him very well. And I can tell you, Stephen, that the first time he asked me a very important question in a full hall in Kimberley, whether in the hall, he asked most boys whether have they ever been told by their fathers that they love them. And almost the entire hall in Kimberley, there was no boy whose father has ever told him that he loves him. And I was also one of those boys that I don't remember my father telling me that he loves me, but I know he loves me. And Patrick said, ourselves must always tell our kids, boys in particular, that we love them, because that love and caring will enable them to understand that they need also to convey the same message to their girlfriends, to the women in their lives. They must care for them and they must love them. And it does not mean that when you are not told, for example, like ourselves, our parents did not love us. They did love us, but that expression is what Patrick wanted to happen. And even myself today, I have learned to say I love you, saying to my son, which is not an easy thing to say.
It's not for people of our generation. You're a little younger than me, Minister, but I absolutely agree with the sentiment that you're expressing there. I do need to ask you about internal ANC politics, I'm afraid. And, Minister, you know it is an ANC leadership election year, so everyone's going to ask you whichever chance they get. You've suggested you would like the leadership election, the entire debate, to be more open than it's been in the past. What kind of election in the ANC do you think there should be?
Yes, Stephen, is that obviously we need to develop guidelines of a leadership contestation where it is open, it is transparent, and it is not destructive for the organization. For the purpose that people can engage openly in terms of who must lead a branch, who must lead the region, who must lead a province, and the candidates can be engaged, and they also engage structures so that we know who wants to lead the structures and what is the vision, what is the direction. And I believe that will help us to renew the organization, because there will be a platform that is not really destructive. At this stage, it's discussed through, not within the structures. What then comes into the structures, which is a technical process. It's a process of nomination and acceptance. And by that time, the discussion will have happened outside the structures. And that denies the structures to have an opportunity to engage on the leadership and on the future of the organization, which I believe is very necessary in this modern society we're living in.
I'm going to ask you a direct question. I don't know if you will answer it or not. I won't be surprised if you say I must ask you later. But the chair of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, was quoted by City Press over the weekend as saying he didn't want to be deputy leader of the ANC. The job should go to someone younger than him. You're younger than Minister Mantashe. Are you available for the job?
Yeah, I agree with him on that one. And I have always said that we need to have generational mix in the ANC structures, with youthful exuberance being consolidated and infused in our structures across the country. And on the question directly, Stephen, you're correct. I won't be able to answer it. I will answer it at the right time. And I have always said that I always respect the will of the structures when called upon.
Feel free to let us know when it's the right time, Minister. I really appreciate the time and the honesty. Thank you very much indeed. Ronald Lamola is the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services.